Good morning everyone, and welcome to a sad day. Some of you may recognise where I am from the scenery. If you've come out this way to shoot before, this morning I'm at Mary's Shell. And this should be quite an easy shoot. So the observant amongst you will notice that I'm in a little red car. Yeah, it's not looking good. So as a shooting location, this is probably the most accessible one I've ever been to. You quite literally park just there, which is, I'm going to say 50 yards away from where I'm going to be shooting, at most. You walk to the steps on the beach, you park your bum on the steps, and then you just wait for the tide to be at the highest point. And you just shoot away until you get it where you want it. Yeah, it's supposed to be a doddle, this. The hardest part is you've got to be able to get here. So I thought my 24-70 was going to be the lens for this, but just a fraction out. So I'm going to pop back to the car and get the other lens. Give me, 1 minute. I'm not going to lie, I was being lazy. I was just going to bring one lens. I've gone and got the bag. So unfortunately for me, high tide proper is in about 8 minutes. And I really wanted it to be further up the beach than it is. It's literally just about getting to the shell. Yeah, never mind. And it's very blue as well, because we're in the early morning blue hour. Sunrise is in approximately 45 minutes. It's not going to be one in terms of glaring colour in the sky because it's cloudy. So I've decided to come down on the beach as well, just to get a bit closer, kind of make it fill the frame a bit more, get a slightly lower perspective on it. Why not? I'm here. Basically, they're all the same, 30 seconds long. Right in the middle is Mary's Shell. It's just different angles on it. I don't know, maybe I'll do an Andy Warhol on it and have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who knows? So I've made my way up to the top now, and I'm basically just completely filling the frame. I've cut out all the sky, all I've got is the sand, the sea and the shell, and it almost fills the frame. It's huge in the frame. The whole idea of this is for the continuity of a 30-second exposure. So all I'm doing is adjusting my f-stop and my ISO to suit, and I've just put on a 3-stop filter because it's now brightening up as we're coming towards the sunrise. The tide's starting to recede a touch now as well, so I need to get these 3 in the bag and then I'll have a little play. Okay, you're getting totally bombarded by seagulls. I'm going to have to move you. So the sun's starting to rear its, in this case, ugly head, which is giving me some harsh side light, I suppose. Well, it's still quite soft at the minute, but it's not going to be more than 10 minutes before it's basically ruining it for me. So I better explain to you why this is such a sad day. Hi guys, and welcome to my home office. That's right, I've had to come all the way home. So, what happened? You may recall that my last 2 videos were Llandudno and then on to Perch Rock at Liverpool. Yeah, not too far a distance to travel, but when I got to Perch Rock, I had to put in half a litre of oil into the van, which was not a good sign. So from Perch Rock, I moved on to Mary's Shell, parked up, and that was a trip of about 90 miles. So I parked up for the night, and then the following morning started the van up so that I could put some charge into my leisure batteries, went to rev the vehicle, and it wouldn't rev. I checked the oil again, and it had used 2 litres of oil in 90 miles. Oh man, that is not good. So at this point, my good lady wife came up to join me because it was a weekend, and we called out the AA. He turned up and gave us this news. So, we've got the AA with us. Yeah. He tells me that, one, I've got an oil leak from probably around the dipstick area, which is good because that probably means that it's not the head gasket. That I've got a temperature sensor fault, which is why it's not revving and it's showing that it's overheating when it's cold. And that I've got a MAF fault and an EGR fault. So, we're off to a garage. But that isn't the worst of it. So the guy from the AA said that if I use one of their recommended repairers, they're obliged to look at it within 24 hours. So I thought, okay, I'm miles from home. My choices are either recover the vehicle to home and try then to get it somewhere else, or go to this garage. And if they've got to look at it within 24 hours, it's going to be the fastest option. So that's what I did. And we were towed all the way to their garage, which was only about 5 minutes down the road, to be honest. So to be towed into the garage, obviously I needed to get the engine started, which it was doing. This allowed me to have the power steering running and the brakes obviously under control. So we did that, and when we arrived at the garage, the vehicle was actually revving again. It seems that the temperature sensor was completely covered in oil, and that's what was causing the fault. It was showing up on the dashboard that it was immediately up to full temperature, even though the engine was cold. So we can only assume that it was revving again when it got to the garage, because the heat from the engine where it had been idling for the journey had kind of warmed up the oil, and it had kind of dissipated off the temperature sensor a bit, and it allowed the vehicle to come back to its normal status. Yeah. Okay, so it took them 2.5 weeks to look at the van. And then when I do get a diagnostics from them after spending £235, I'm told that basically the bottom end has gone in the vehicle. It's knocking like a trooper, and they've steam cleaned it, and they can't diagnose where the oil's coming from. They apparently also cleaned the EGR, but I never managed to get anything from them that told me how that affected things. Whether they did or not, I don't know. But it's definitely got a knocking noise. So the van's going to have to come all the way back, because we're looking at a total engine replacement, to be quite honest, or recon, and we'll go from there. So what are my options? Well, it's a £4,000 to £5,000 repair, and it's a 55 plate van, so it's kind of not viable. It's only because it's got the camper conversion in it that makes it a viable repair. Just what can I buy for that? Not much, to be quite honest. Certainly something that I'd have to spend some money on, so that may deem it a viable repair just because of that. The other option is, of course, that's it. That's the end of the trip, and I really don't want that. And I'd like to thank Matt at More Automotive, because he's managed to get me back home. They've done a brilliant service, and yeah, thank you guys. You've been stars. In the meantime, I'm going to do a few trips to the Lake District in the car. I'm going to pop back to Godrevy as well, because the good lady wife wants to go and see the seals, you know. So yeah, we'll take her down and show her the seals. I'll see you guys in the next one, and hopefully I'll have a bit of an update for you.